Former player and assistant coach Damon Jones changing his plea to guilty in 2 different federal gambling cases. Jones was accused of relaying non-public injury information to bettors in one case and of being involved in rigged mafia-backed poker games in the other case. He is the first person of the more than 30 accused to plead guilty.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are back reporting or giving an update to this gambling case, this NBA gambling case that has blew the lid off of some improprieties going on in the NBA with coaches and players and things like that. There are many people that are implicated in this case. And this gentleman right here, Damon Jones, has pleaded guilty. Now, this happened earlier last year, but here's an update from December. This is from the BBC. This was 9 December 2025. What we know about arrests in FBI's illegal gambling investigation. There's a picture of Terry Rozier right there. It says here, a case involving sprawling legal betting schemes, which the FBI involves Star Basketball Association personalities and the New York Mafia, could be headed towards plea deals. A Brooklyn court has heard. Miami Heat player Terry Rozier has pleaded not guilty to charges of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering. His bail has been set at $3 million. Also, Portland Trail Blazers coach Chauncey Billups earlier pleaded not guilty to allegations of participating in a separate mafia-linked illegal poker operation. Now, here's some of the details. The FBI investigation into 2 alleged schemes reads like a Hollywood movie, with claims of X-ray tables at high-stakes poker games and rigged betting on NBA player performances. They were all allegedly linked to some of New York's infamous 5 families, which have ruled the city's mafia for decades. Now let's scroll down here real quick before we get back to the video. Who has been charged? All in all, authorities say 34 defendants were indicted on charges related to the 2 fraud cases. 6 people were charged in the first case of players allegedly faking injuries to influence betting odds, including Miami Heat guard Rozier. Rozier is in the last season of his 4-year, $96 million contract. The New York Police Commissioner, Jessica Tisch, alleged that in March of 2023, Rozier, then playing for the Charlotte Hornets, let others close to him know that he planned to leave a game early with a supposed injury. Now let's get to Damon Jones' part. Former NBA player Damon Jones was also arrested. He is alleged to have been involved in 2 games that were part of the scheme when the Los Angeles Lakers met the Milwaukee Bucks in February of 2023, and in January 2024, a game between the Lakers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Jones retired from playing years ago, but since then has worked in assistant coaching jobs and media roles inside the world of the NBA. Jones has also pleaded not guilty to charges that span both alleged betting schemes. Now, there's 2 different ones. Now, the one that Terry Rozier was in, I believe, is linked to the one with Damon Jones. The other one was with Chauncey Billups. That brings us back over here to ESPN because they're going to give more details about his now guilty plea, Mr. Damon Jones, former NBA player and coach. He pleaded guilty today in federal court. He took a deal, and I suspect he would not be the last person to plead not guilty. And somebody's going to take the full rap for this. I don't know who it's going to be, whether it's Terry Rozier or Chauncey Billups or somebody else that's not named. But let's finish up with NBA ESPN again. Fair use to NBA on ESPN. Hopefully they don't flag this video when I upload it. If you're watching this right now, that means I got a green light. So let's listen to the NBA and ESPN and the legal analysts give details on this case.
Here's what you need to know. While Jones has pled guilty, NBA guard Terry Rozier and Basketball Hall of Famer Chauncey Billups have pled not guilty to their respective charges.
Okay, coming in hot. So Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups has still plead not guilty. Terry Rozier, of course, accused of manipulating his own play under bets. We read that. And Chauncey Billups accused of profiting from rigged mafia-backed poker games. All right, let's continue.
Rozier was charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering in an alleged gambling scheme. Billups was charged with profiting from rigged poker games involving several mafia figures. our legal analyst, Ryan Smith, joining us now. Ryan, what's your takeaway from what happened at Damon Jones' plea hearings today?
Biggest takeaway for me is that he gets up in court and admits his role in prosecutors' scheme that they've outlined here, and that's huge for them because he basically validates their theory of the case. This is them saying all along, there were these rigged poker games, there was this sports gambling ring based on insider information, and he's standing up there and basically saying, yes, I was a part of it and I did it. What happens next ends up being big because of what happened today. Does this cause a domino effect among all the other defendants, or at least many of them, to then come forward? Because in a case like this, a lot of times, the first person to come in to get the deal gets the best deal, and the people who come in later and later, their deals get progressively worse.
I remember.
That's right. He is correct on it. Thank you, sir.
Enemy spotted.
The person that gets the first deal usually gets the sweetest deal, and everybody else, because again, eventually somebody has to take the full rap for this, right? So as they narrow it down to the one that's going to eventually take the full credit for these crimes, well, that guy's not going to get a deal at all. But this man, Damon Jones, got the first deal. He probably got the sweetest deal. I don't know what his sentence or whatever will be, but he has avoided a jury trial, which would have been very bad for him. Let's see who rolls next.
Were you saying that before when the story first broke? So take us through how the dominoes could fall with Chauncey and Terry and the other defendants.
This is where it gets really interesting because right now they've pled not guilty. Now, we are learning, it seems that Damon Jones is not going to be a cooperating witness. What that means is he wouldn't testify against others in this case. That could be huge here because that means there's not a direct impact on Rozier or Billups because he wouldn't be necessarily testifying against them. But the indirect part is what gets it done here because indirectly, if defendant after defendant after defendant comes forward and starts making deals and saying, I was involved in this, and one of them says, I was involved in something with you, perhaps Rozier or Billups, not saying that they were, but if that happens, that puts pressure indirectly on them to decide, what do we do about this situation? Do we have to make a deal as well, even though, as Rozier and Billups have kind of felt so far, we've done nothing wrong?
Okay, now those two guys have pleaded still not guilty. And we still don't know who else was implicated because, like they said in the article, there's 34 people that was ultimately indicted or charged in these crimes, this ring, if you will. So we have yet to see who else is going to get deals besides these guys that are in the public eye, the NBA figures. We have yet to see who else is going to roll on this. I wish that everybody else had been named, but I guess because they're mafia figures, they're some kind of underworld figures, maybe they don't need to be named for safety's sake or the sake of the case. But I believe that the ball's going to start rolling a little bit faster now that he has been the first domino to fall, being Damon Jones.
It was news Monday that prosecutors are looking to file possibly additional charges against Terry Rozier. What more can you tell us about that?
This was a bombshell for him and his lawyers. They had a motion to dismiss hearing. They were trying to get all the charges thrown out, and prosecutors told them a couple hours before, we're filing additional charges against you. Solicitation of a bribe is what we plan on filing. That is big. And I think when this story...
Oh, no, a bribe? Man, oh, man. Charges of sports bribery and honest services wire fraud expected to be filed by mid-May, man. They are going to do a superseding indictment on Terry Rozier, man. He's in trouble.
A lot of people say, wow, they're charged with money laundering conspiracy and wire fraud conspiracy. But you forget, all of these investigations are ongoing. Prosecutors don't stop. They keep digging. They keep trying to find more. And when they find evidence, they can charge it. This is a superseding indictment they're now filing. But the big thing for all the defendants in this case is you never know if they can come forward with more charges. If they do, does that put pressure on you to come forward? Because you were facing two things. Now you're facing a third thing or a fourth thing. The more that happens, the more prosecutors are in some ways trying to put pressure on defendants to make a deal and come clean. At the end of this, they want justice and to figure it all out, and that could push them to do it.
We'll be watching this. Ryan Smith, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, my sweet Jesus.
Enemy spotted.
Man, I hope these guys get hope they get their stuff together, man. Hope they got a good legal team and hope they can get some sweet deals. If not, they are in trouble. They are in big trouble. And of course, there's a bad look on the NBA for betting and things like that. That's brought a bad name and has tarnished the integrity of the game and the sport that is the NBA and basketball. So we'll see how this goes, all right? But in any case, that is a wrap with them. That being said, we will continue to report on this story, and we'll see who else takes deals or gets charged or guilty, not guilty. Who ends up going down for this, we will find out, all right? So we'll keep you posted over here. And as always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell will be out of the door, and I will see you on the next video.